Good scene. How did you find that character's the character in Inglourious Basterds? How did you find his voice, his bearing?
I heard it. I mean, I heard it when I was reading. Mm-hmm. It kind of sounds like me right now, actually. But I heard it, and that's just, again, a rare thing. I never deviated from that first read. Like, that speech is so specific. I never deviated.
It's a great speech.
It's some good writing.
Yeah, good writing indeed.
By the way, that other stuff was some good writing too.
Yes. Now,
that was Aaron Sorkin.
Aaron Sorkin and Steven Zaillian both got credit.
Yeah.
Who really wrote the script?
No, they both did. Both. Yeah, we had great contributions from both. I mean, it was a real two-hander.
Well, that's as good as it gets. Those two guys.
Yeah. Yeah. You see how important I mean, we get a lot of credit, but how important the writing is, how important, like, how it's, where the director puts the camera, how the cinematographer is lighting it. I mean, it's all so important. It is really a collective, and I've been so lucky to work with people like this.
But you play. But the character Billy Bean, you play in Moneyball, is an aloof guy, and there's scenes that show his isolation and his removal, so to speak, from the thick of it, and the mainstream of what's going on around him. How do you play that and still make him somebody to care about?
I don't know. I mean, I really don't have all I know, I was really compelled by him. I was really compelled by this book. It started with a script that was kind of like, before the two greats got in there, kind of like Moneyball Light. It was more goofy, a little more silly. It was like Major League, kind of more that tone. And I read the book and just became really rather obsessed with this book that challenged the way we think, why we do things day after day the same way, that we need to be asking these questions. Like why do we have an electoral college now? Like, why are we still dealing with daylight savings? You don't know. Why? And it was a long time in the development to get the right tone. This is something that, another early conversation I had with Fincher about the tone of a film. And each film has a very specific tone, and what are you aiming for? And I could hear the tone. I was aiming for this tone, but I didn't know how to get there. So we actually developed it for years. I lost a few friends over that one, but we got there. And I'm pretty thrilled with that one.
Well, that's your power as a producer, as a developer of properties. In this case, for yourself too.
Yeah, I never thought about it that way. I just thought, you become passionate about a project as we do, and so you fight for it, and a lot of films take that kind of drive and fortitude.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about films that we don't have time to play clips from tonight that I don't want to ignore. Films like Babel, which it's just extraordinary. And I wonder, in that case, Inarritu, again, did he present you with a finished screenplay that you bought into? Yes, I want to be part of this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And for me, it was all about that last scene, about once if you remember the movie, they make it to the hospital, and they're okay. And it was then at that moment that he breaks down with the realization, of everything that he almost lost. And I think it's so true that we can forget, the beauty around us, what we really have, and I'm noticing a theme of hubris, in the sense of like Seven is a character who sees the world very black and white and doesn't see beyond his own spectrum. Detective Mills, he doesn't see what's coming. He doesn't understand. I see it in Burn After Reading. There's a hubris there's an idiocy. There's a delusion. But I see hubris, and there was a hubris in that character. And
Thinks he knows it all.
What's that?
He thinks he knows it all,
Well, like
when he's actually kind of clueless.
which one? Yeah, the others.
The guy-
In Babel, it's more like just missing. It's the hubris that everything's always going to be all right, and not valuing, the one, the ones around him, what his life is. And I think that's a theme. I mean, hubris has always gotten me in trouble. I think it's the thing that gets our nation in trouble. And it's something I've been rather fascinated with along the way.
Troy is such a huge movie. We now know, well, Wolfgang Peterson had tackled big endeavors before. We know that a lot of it was created through computer-generated imagery, but what did it feel like? You were on several locations for that, right? They didn't shoot it in any one place.
In a skirt. Leather.
Tactile memories, huh?
It was a yes. Yes, it's called chafing.
Chafing, yes.
Yes. That was just fun because it was, it was aggressive. It was a lot of action, a lot of physicality, and we had some great guys, that developed the fights, and yeah, we were in Malta, we were down in Cabo, and yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Did it feel big, or was that all sort of
No.
painted in? No.
Yeah, no, it felt more chintzy than what it was going to be. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Also, and Babel, you got to work again with Cate Blanchett, who's just like...
Yeah, one of our greats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was on this stage with me some years ago.
Oh, good.
Great. We're going to look now at your two most recent films, and couldn't be more different from each other. I think James Gray is one of the great talents working today, and I didn't realize that you had produced his previous film, Lost City of Z, which is a film that not enough people saw, I think. It's a couple dozen people applauding. It's a magical film, and so is Ad Astra. But again, it's a great performance you give, playing somebody who's aloof, who's very cool, and we learn this right at the beginning of the film when he does his self check-in, and which is a wonderful device in his screenplay to kind of gauge, where he is at any given moment. He's not passive. That's not it. But there's something right under the surface, always, with that character. And again, you're not into self-analysis, but I'm wondering how you approach something like that, how that containment that defines the character.
Well, the film was asking questions. When we get through this first part of our adulthood, and we're all ego, and we're setting out to conquer. When you hit midlife, you really start. These things don't work for you anymore, and you start questioning like who you are, what was it about? Where's meaning? Where does meaning come from? And that was certainly the journey that James and I wanted to investigate. And so we have a character here who is, he's very self-protected, and that's worked for him for some time, but now he's found himself really lacking in what really matters, which is our love and our connection. And so in this film, it was a real breakdown of that. It's the quintessential, I guess, midlife crisis, the real midlife crisis. And he's either going to die or he's going to rebuild in another way. That's what we were after.
And I think you've said more than once in being asked about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that the character sort of was again there on the page for you, and you understood him pretty readily.
Yeah, again, Quentin paints a very specific picture, and it's good fun. And again, I heard the voice. I heard the voice. I didn't alter it, and I didn't deviate from what I originally heard in the first read.
How much does his, this is a dumb question, I was going to say, how much does his enthusiasm affect you as an actor? That is a dumb question.
Well, no, I don't know. No, listen, he's a joy to be around. It would be, I think the film world would be a lot, would be more boring without him. I think we need him. Yeah.
Well, we're going to watch these two clips. This is your most recent work. As an actor, as a producer, you're still piling up credits like crazy. Let me just take a little detour here. Plan B is the name of your company, and you have two partners in crime. Do they present you, are they the ones who scout out material and come to you and say, this looks interesting?
My partners are Jeremy Kleiner and Dee Dee Gardner, and we've been together about 16, we're year 17 now. And no, it's always been story first, and then the artist. I mean, our mandate's still been the same. And if something does happen to be something that I would fit into, then we'll have that discussion. But it's not where we're pushing.
Are you willing to, what do producers do? They raise money or they risk money. In both cases,
yeah,
that happens. You're willing to risk capital, money, finances.
It's not my money.
You believe in. That's, yeah.
But yes, risk capital as far as being able to, I guess, they're bets. We're betting on this project. We're betting on these artists. So yeah, I'm willing to risk that.
You bet twice on Barry Jenkins.
Yeah.
He's worth betting on.
We've bet a third time. We're
yeah?
something with him now. Yeah.
Very good.
Really, it's not a bet.
No.
It's really not a bet with Barry. First one, okay, maybe. But
great talent.
Yeah.
And a good person.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at your most recent films.
Okay.